Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today we're going to take a look at another of these new Roarivores, and as you can see, it is the new Baryonyx. I actually did not take a look at the box in either of the previous Roarivore reviews, so we'll do that now with this Baryonyx. You can see, of course, we've got the Rex, we got the Triceratops, and Owen just staring awkwardly at us like we've done something wrong. Jurassic World up here, and then the big logo there in the back. And then if we turn it around, we've got a shot of the Baryonyx, giving us an example of the action feature, the other three new Roarivores down at the bottom, and then a sneak peek of the card right there. So it's pretty much your standard box, the same box that you always get, just pretty much redone with the new Roarivores instead. Still a very nice looking box, but nothing new and exciting. So let's break the Baryonyx out and we'll take a look at it. So here is the Baryonyx card. He has quite the nice looking set of stats there. Pretty cool looking image, but I don't know, something about that Baryonyx just looks a little strange to me. And then we've got the Dino Rivals Jurassic World logos on the back, as always. And then here is the new Roarivore Baryonyx that doesn't want to stand. Wow, look at this, he's really bad at this. And nope, hold on. There we go. I think there's a chance that this Baryonyx has standing problems, which is sad. I don't get that too much with the Jurassic World line. I've heard a lot of other people claim that they've had a lot of problems as far as balancing their figures, but I've never really had that issue previously. However, this Baryonyx might just break that trend for me. I got him balancing now, but he doesn't look too super stable, so I guess we'll just have to see as the review goes on how well he balances out. However, I'm going to say straight away, looking at this guy now all put together and out of the box, it's really quite nice looking. It might be the best one of the new Roarivores, taking the place of the Ceratosaurus, just because it has some decent paint application on it, and there is a good bit of paint applied, I feel like more so than either of the other two figures. Maybe that's just my mind playing tricks on me, but it does look really quite nice as far as that goes. I guess the only way to really tell, though, is to get a close look, so let's do that now. So starting up here at the head, you can see the head is a very nice greenish color. The green kind of tapers off here on the snout to a lighter green, and some have a more yellowish color, but this one is definitely a lighter green, and I think that really looks quite nice. It was a very cool touch on the part of Mattel to really include that slight transition into a lighter green there and just give it some color variation. I think the inside of the mouth looks really nice. It's funny how the new set of Roarivores is kind of a mixture of Wave 1 and Wave 2 of the Jurassic World line Roarivores kind of mixed together, because you have the original versions that have the open mouth just kind of chilling, and then you have the Ceratosaurus, which is one of the ones that they had changed to have the mouth closed and you push it and it opens. So it's a mixture of both. But regardless, back to what I was saying, the mouth looks pretty nice. It's got some very nice, very realistic paint. Nothing on the upper side of the mouth, but the tongue and the skin flaps on the inside of the mouth here look really quite nice. It appears to have a nice gloss as well. The teeth look to be painted pretty well. Yeah, they look really nice actually. There's no real sloppiness or anything. Maybe a little more paint applied here as the green has run down onto the teeth a little bit, but for the most part, from a step away, you don't really notice it, and I think they look very nice. Taking a closer look here at the eye, look how really cool that eye looks. That's actually a totally different method, I think I would say, of painting the eye than we've seen previously. If we have had an eye painted like this before, I don't recall. They've kind of just included a ring around the black eye, which kind of gives some separation there and makes it appear as though it has a black pupil, but that looks really, really nice, and actually I think it looks a good bit nicer than what we saw on the other figures. This eye's a little sloppy, but it's not terrible. So that is a little disheartening, as so many of my newer Jurassic World figures were having really beautifully placed eyes. It is sad to see one eye at least get a little bit of sloppiness, but it's not that bad. I have again reviewed the sculpt of this guy, so I won't review it now. I'm only looking at what's new, so if you do want to see a more in-depth review of the sculpt, check the description, as I will have a link to the previous review there. So as you start to lead down the neck, you can see that it does transition into a darker green, almost a grayish green, and I think that's probably just due to the material used, as the head is a slightly different material than the other part here in the harder plasticky part of the body. But again, it is a slightly different shade, so that, whether on purpose or not, does give some more paint variation to this Baryonyx. And as you come down into the body, you can see that it does have this dark green that kind of just splotches all over the back and looks really quite nice in my opinion. And then you move down here into the arms, and they are that same shade of green that you see up here on the face. No paint on the nails, but it does still look really good. And then you come down here into the legs, and the legs again are that same shade of green that the arms and the face are. But that again has some of that very dark green splotched here and there. And then the leg actually transitions to that same dark green or similar dark green down here. I'm not really sure if it's exactly the same shade or not, but it's very similar. I really love that. I think that's one thing that they've done here with this figure I've never seen them do previously, and I think it's a really beautiful touch to help add a little bit of realism to the figure and at the same time just give it some very nice paint variation. And then we come back here and this greenish coloration stops right here as the tail is connected, and then we're back to that very bright green that you saw up on the face. It's all the same deal on both sides. It looks exactly the same as the previous side, but it still is really, really nice looking. And I love the many different variations of greens and stuff all throughout, giving it a very cool look. It seems like there's a decent bit of paint application on this figure as opposed to a lot of others, which helps this one, I think, rise to the top of the new Roarivores, in my opinion anyway. And then if we look here, we got the Jurassic Facts app code if you want to add this guy to your collection. Otherwise, let's go ahead and take a look at the articulation. So I'm going to go ahead and call it now and say that this Baryonyx definitely has some balancing issues. He doesn't want to stand at all. Oh, there we go. We got him. So let's... Nope. He's going to fall again. Ah, nuts. Stand, Baryonyx. There you go. Okay, so for some reason, if I face in the opposite direction, he wants to balance. Not well, but he is doing it. As I said, the articulation, we've got the jaw, which does move with the action feature. We've got the arms, which move forward and back, and then out away from the body. That's very smooth, very nicely done. And then the legs move forward and back, out away from the body. Same deal with both sides of the legs and arms. And then the tail, which is not on a swivel on this. These are the older ones, you can't turn those. And they haven't improved the sculpt or updated it to allow swiveling of the tail, which I don't really mind because I don't really think that's a big deal. I don't know why you would swivel a tail on a dinosaur anyway. So if Baryonyx will stand here long enough for me to measure him, he is a pretty long figure. I feel like he's one of the longest as far as the Roarivores go. Oh, definitely. So from the tail to the head, you're looking at a little over 13, almost 13.25 inches, or about 33.5 centimeters in length. And for a height to the head, you're looking at a little over 5, about 5.25, almost 5.5 actually, inches, or about 13.5 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, who is just barely taller than our also green Baryonyx. But again, you should be able to tell that this Baryonyx is really quite large compared to the Papo Rex. That's impressively sized, as a lot of these Roarivores are definitely pretty big figures, and this Baryonyx is up there at the top of that list. And there is the new Roarivore Ceratosaurus, again showing you that even the Ceratosaurus is a good bit smaller than the Baryonyx. The Baryonyx is really a very sizable figure, which is another good addition to this piece. I think that helps to add to the likeness factor of this being a larger figure and still being a good price. I believe I paid about $13.87, something like that at Walmart, so it's a very good price for such a nice sized and very highly detailed figure. As far as the action feature and all that fun stuff goes, we push the button, the jaw snaps perfectly, and then of course you can hear all the fun Baryonyx noises, which I don't believe any are new. They all sound pretty much the same as before. So this Baryonyx is definitely very nice looking. I love the new way that they've decided to paint the eyes. I think the eyes look really cool and actually quite a bit better than what we have seen from pretty much any of the other figures, I think. So that is definitely a big improvement on this figure as opposed to the others. It is sad to see that the opposing eye there is a little bit sloppy, but it's not that bad. At least it's not missing the mark completely or on the cheek or somewhere like that. I love the paint on this. I think the paint application is really nicely done. I actually initially, when I seen the images of this, thought that this was going to be probably one of the worst Roarivores, and I wasn't a big fan of it at all. When it came to the awkward looking head, I felt like the head was just missing something. but when I see it here in person, it's a totally different story. It seems to be the case with a lot of the Mattel figures. I see them in their promotional images and stuff and being teased. I'm not a big fan. I think that they look a little iffy as far as the paint goes, but then when I see them in person, my opinions always seem to change, and I'm not really sure why that is. I guess that's just kudos to Mattel doing a good job. Like I said, I think the paint application does look really nice. There are many different variants of green all throughout the body, helping to really give this a very beautiful and very realistic appearance. The action feature, of course, works beautifully as well, and really has some very cool noises that we have come to know and love as far as the Roarivores go. You've also got beautiful articulation, which is something that is a given when it comes to these Roarivore figures. And overall is a very, very nice and very appealing looking Baryonyx and a beautiful addition to the Jurassic World toy line. However, the only thing that I will say that is a bit of a downside is that it doesn't balance very well, or at least mine doesn't. It definitely has some pretty bad standing issues, which is strange because I have two, I think, of the other Baryonyx. One that I repainted and one that I kept original, and neither have had any issues balancing. But this guy here definitely has something up. He's not liking this whole standing thing. I think he's kind of a lazy Baryonyx. So let's give the guy a break. We'll end the review, let him go rest for a while since his legs can't handle the pressure of his own body weight. And if you do want to order this guy, go ahead, check the description. I'll throw links to Amazon and Entertainment Earth where you can purchase it for yourself if you would like. If you want to purchase it in person, and probably would be your best option for making sure you get one that looks the way you would like, go ahead and check your local Walmart, as if it's not there now, it should be soon. These guys are really getting quite abundant in my area now, so you should hopefully have them in your store soon, if not already. Either way, definitely a very cool Baryonyx. Go purchase this guy, but before you do that, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.